Hi, Fenville Elementary. It's Mrs. DeRue again. Hey, we're going to read some more Stella Diaz. We're going to read chapters 16, 17, and 18 today. And then tomorrow, we're going to finish the book already. Isn't that exciting? So yesterday when we read, Stella learned a couple important lessons. First of all, she learned that speaking in front of people isn't as scary as she thought. And second, she learned that if you give bullies the power that they want, sorry about that, then they'll continue to bully you. But if you ignore them and don't give them the power, then they'll leave you alone. Okay, let's find out what happens. Chapter 16, page 147. Here we go. When Mom gets home from work, she makes a big deal out about my spelling bee ribbon, which I don't even mind. She cries, "Oh, me baby!" I usually don't like it when she says my baby in public, but at home it makes me hug her even more. This calls for a celebration. How about a trip to La Biblioteca and some frozen yogurt afterwards? I squeal and spell Y-E-S. That sounds like a great night. I also squeal because I love hearing the word biblioteca, which means library. Such a fun word, and I love going to the library. Mom changes out of her suit. As soon as Nick and I see her in her jeans and sweatshirt, we know it's time to go. Are you going to get any books for your project, Stella? She asks as she grabs her car keys. I would like a book on starfishes. Mom, did you know that if a starfish loses an arm, I hide one of my arms behind my back and then stick it out again, they can grow one back? I wiggle my hand in amazement. She nods. Did you know some people are as strong as starfishes? What do you mean, Mom? You mean like superheroes, I asked? She laughs. I mean that some people have to go through tough things and they can bounce back, like Frida Kahlo. Ooh. Then I asked, who's Frida Kahlo? I'll tell you more about her in the car, Mom says. She's fascinating. Turns out Frida Kahlo was a Mexican painter who made beautiful paintings. She was in a bus accident when she was very young and had to stay in bed for months. That's when she learned how to paint. She became one of the most famous painters. Wow, I exclaimed. Hearing about Frida Kahlo makes me proud to be from the same country. We can get a book on her at the Biblioteca tonight, Mom says as she pulls into the library parking lot. Now, the library at school is pretty cool, but the public library near my house is incredible. We have a pretty incredible public library too. It has 3 levels and beanbag chairs in the kids section. I like to go to the reference section and look at the huge books on marine life. They have so many pictures. The library also has art exhibits and art contests. One time I got 3rd place. We had to draw a scene from our favorite book, and mine was from James and the Giant Peach. It was the scene where the peach gets stuck up on top of the Empire State Building. I found this really cool photo of the building so I could see how to draw it and added many seagulls. Mom framed it at home and always says that one day it will be very valuable. When we get to the library, I see a sign near the front door that reads local author presentation in the auditorium. Oh, Mom, can we go, por favor? I ask. If I say please, Mom usually says yes. Mom looks at her watch and then at me. I'm giving her my biggest puppy dog eyes I can. She nods yes and gives me a kiss on the head. Nick said, it starts in 30 minutes. Time to move it, as he runs over to the graphic novels. In the meantime, I spot more books on marine animals while Mom looks for books on Frida Kahlo and some mystery novels for herself. Since I've already done research at the library for my project, I know exactly where the fish books are. I only have a few more fishes to go, and I also want to get more photos for the starfish page that I'm finishing. I find a picture of a royal starfish that's purple with an orange border. Nick wanders over with a stack of graphic novels and peeks over my shoulder. I can't wait to draw it, I whisper. I'm sure it will be great, like the rest of your drawings, little Miss Frida Kahlo. I giggle. Do you think they'll have one at the Shed Aquarium? Nick shrugs his shoulder. Maybe. Also, Mom's a little busy with work, so I don't know when we'll get to go. Nick's been so great about the presentation. He told Mom about the Shed Aquarium idea, and now I just hope we really can go. We've also been brainstorming how to make my presentation more interesting, and he suggested that I should be a fisherman. That sounds a little boring, but then I came up with the idea of doing a submarine. I just need to finish my research before I start building it. Nick says, "Come on, champ, time to go." I grab his arm and we run over to Mom, who is standing near the auditorium. We entered just as the show is starting. Not only is it an author, but it's a children's book author and a girl. She starts the presentation by reading out loud a few of her books. One of them is even in English and Spanish. How cool is that? Obviously, I understand both parts. Later, she speaks about how she gets started as an author. She grew up in Texas like Stanley. Turns out she had problems speaking as a kid, just like me. She would switch the letters around, and everyone thought she wasn't really smart. Because of that, she read even more and made herself write all the time. Then she decided that's what she wanted to do when she grew up. I whispered to Mom, "She's a starfish." She puts her arm around me and kisses me on the top of my head. Then I realized that maybe I'm a starfish too. My name is Estrella after all. So starfishes are pretty tough, right? And they can go through a lot of tough stuff. I think Stella might be a starfish. When I get home, I draw the royal starfish. As soon as I'm done, I whisper to Pancho, "Don't tell anyone, but I might want to be an author one day." Pancho, of course, doesn't say anything. He's the best at keeping secrets. I'm in the middle of reading about narwhals when Dad picks us up. The narwhal is a type of whale. People think it has a giant tusk, but it's actually a tooth. Narwhals are extra special because they're rarely seen. People tried to keep them in captivity in 1960s and 70s, but sadly they kept dying. I only see Dad once or twice a year, and this time it's right before spring break. He's in Chicago for a week with Tio Carlos. Remember, he works for Tio Carlos in Colorado. Apparently, they are going to some sort of convention for my Tio's clothing store. When Dad arrives at our house, he's in a new car that I've never seen before. Dad always likes to drive instead of flying, so he must have gotten it back in Colorado. The new car is a sports car. You know, the ones that look like they go really fast? I'm used to this, though. Every time I see him, it's a new car. As we put on our seatbelts, he says that he's taking Nick and me bowling. "Cool," Nick says. Excuse me. I don't say anything. I've never been bowling before. I'm excited, but I don't know what to expect. As soon as we get to the bowling alley, Dad says to us, "You guys paying?" He laughs. I hope not. I look over at Nick. He's not laughing. I know why, too. Since Dad never sends us money, we never know when he actually is going to pay for things. Mom knows us, and she always gives us extra money when we see him, just in case he makes us pay. "Nick, it's just a joke." Nick is still not laughing. Dad just shrugs. He goes over to the register. "One adult, 2 kids." Dad opens up his wallet. I see a picture of Nick when he was little, and then I see a picture of me as a baby. I see a picture of a baby. "Who's that?" I ask, pointing to the picture. "You," he says. I'm a little surprised. "Really?" "See, it's you from your first passport picture before we moved to the United States. Vamos, let's get some zapatos on your feet." Zapatos are shoes. Apparently, you can't wear regular shoes on the bowling lanes. You have to borrow these really cool shoes that are all colorful. I put them on. "I think I might like bowling," I say to Nick, and I kick my heels together like Dorothy of The Wizard of Oz. Let's go, Twinkle Toes," Nick says. We walk over to the lanes and Dad enters our names into the computer. Then he hands me a few different balls to find one that I could bowl with. I find a bright orange one that I can actually carry. "Señoritas primero." So girls first, says Dad. I like it when Dad says girls go first. Nick blows a raspberry. I'm all smiles until I walk toward the lane. The floor is slippery and I get all nervous trying to lift the ball. It feels too heavy. What do I do, Dad? I asked. It's not rocket science. Just roll the ball, said Nick. I turned roja, this time because I'm angry. Just because I'm new at something doesn't mean I'm stupid. I wish that I were a narwhal right now so I could poke Nick with my giant tube. Instead, I stick my tongue out at Nick. Then I roll the ball. It goes nowhere near the white pins. In fact, my first two balls go right into the gutter. So do mine. Nick goes next. He's much better than me and knocks a few pins over. Dad's really good. He knocks over all the pins. I don't know much about bowling, but he kicks out his leg like a professional. Dad, how come you're so good? I asked. Well, I used to go bowling a bunch when I was a teenager. He reties his shoes and looks at me. I wasn't very close to my parents. They were more concerned about their parties than with your tia or me. Once I no longer had a nanny, I spent all my time with my friends bowling or playing pool. I feel sad for a second. I never thought about Dad as a kid. It sounds kind of lonely. I love spending time with Mom and Nick. I look at him and say in Spanish, Dad, could you teach me how to bowl better? Claro que sí, mi amor, Stella. Of course, my love, he says. He shows me how to line up my feet with these little arrows first. Next, he shows me how to swing my arm better and finally to let the ball roll. When I do it by myself, the ball goes slower than it did before, but it's going straight down the middle and I actually knock over some pins, almost all of them. Way to go, Stella, said Nick. He gives me a high five. Dad kisses the top of my head and I smile. For a moment, I miss having him around. After we finish bowling, Dad drops us off at the house. Before you go, he said, grabbing a box from the back seat, here are new coats for the two of you. I see the tags. They're from my Tio's store. Dad gives Nick and me each a coat. I try mine on it, and it's too big. It's also pink with fur. I like pink, but a whole pink coat is a little too girly for me. Still, I say, gracias. I look over at Nick and I giggle. His coat is way too small. It's so tight around his shoulders, he can't even put his arms down. Oh, I guess you grew more than I realized. You're going to be as tall as your uncle. Nick just shrugs and hands the coat back. I'll mail you a new one, Dad said. Nick looks at me. We both know that that's never going to happen. I gave Dad a goodbye hug. I feel a little sad again. My dad's not all terrible. He just doesn't know better. It's like the people who used to hunt narwhals. People used to think that narwhals were related to unicorns. They didn't know they were regular sea mammals and weren't magical. I think part of Dad just doesn't realize he's not doing a good job at being a father. Then again, I don't think he knows how. It doesn't sound like he had a really great parents. Nick and I are lucky because at least we have Mom. Nick puts his arm around me as we go back inside our house. As we open the door, I smell something wonderful. Mom's in the kitchen making albondigas again. Remember? Spaghetti and meatballs. I run to the kitchen and hug her tightly around the waist. Whoa, Stella, you surprised me. I look up at her. I love you, Mommy. I love you more, she said, and she hugs me back. Today, I turn 9 years old, which means I'm big enough to take care of myself. This year, my birthday is on Saturday, so I don't even have to go to school. Good thing, too, because I couldn't sleep last night thinking about the day ahead. Mom pretended not to remember my birthday last night when we were playing games and eating Chinese food. Mom, are we doing anything special tomorrow? I asked. I'm not sure. Should we? She says with a wink. Yeah, nothing special happens tomorrow. The most boring day ever, said Nick. Stuck out my tongue at him and opened my fortune cookie. I went to sleep a little worried, but I was pretty sure I could hear presents being wrapped and smell cake being baked in the kitchen in the middle of the night. So when I hear Mom tiptoeing into my room and I see lighted candles, I know she and Nick didn't forget. They sing happy birthday twice, the first time in English and the second time in Spanish. I blow out all 9 candles at the same time and feel extra lucky. On our birthdays, we always get to eat cake for breakfast. Mom made my favorite this year, coconut cake with a special type of caramel called cajeta. Then she puts a bunch of sliced mangoes on top. I run to the kitchen to grab plates while Mom and Nick chase after me. When I get to the kitchen, I see wrapped presents on the table. There's even one for Nick because Mom always says that we need to celebrate being hermano and hermana, being brother and sister. Because I'm a really good hermana, I let him open his present first. But before that, I give him a card I made that has a drawing of a sea dragon on it. Sea dragons are like seahorses, but they look like leafy dragons. Inside it says, "To the best big hermano, love, Stella." I drew the sea dragon because if my brother were a fish, he'd be a sea dragon. He always takes care of me like the male sea dragons do. Sea dragons also carry their young on their tails. Nick gives me piggyback rides sometimes. Plus, Nick really likes dragons in general. It's the only animal he draws. Hey, thanks, sis. Mom says, "Ahora it's Stella's turn." Now it's Stella's turn. I squeal and open up my 4 presents on the table one at a time. The first one is an envelope, and inside are tickets for the Shed Aquarium. This is going to help me finish my fish project, I say. Thanks, Mom. Way to go, Mom, Nick cheers. Then I open the second present, James and the Giant Peach. Now you don't have to check it out from the library anymore, Mom says. Ah, gracias, I say. I jump up to hug her and she kisses my cheek. Mom's the best. She used to try to give me baby dolls, but then she realized that I like books and art supplies way more. The third present is a bigger box. It is 128 colored pencils, the fancy artist kind. Before, I only had 24. I also didn't have any metallic colors, and now I'll be able to draw superheroes with metallic capes for my brother. I saw Stanley doing that at school the other day, and it looked really cool. You can use the metallic ones to draw details on your submarine, said Nick. We high-fived. He's so smart. The last present is really small, like the size of a note. I open it. It's a card. On the front, it says, "To la mejor hija," to the best daughter. I open the card, and written inside, it says, "Go to the garage." It's a surprise, I yell as I run to the garage. I love surprises. There in the middle of the garage is a red bicycle without training wheels. Mom and Nick like to go riding with each other around the neighborhood on the weekends. I was always a little jealous, but I didn't have a bike without training wheels, so I would play at Jenny's instead. Awesome, I say as I jump up and down. Can we ride now? Oh, no riding until you eat your cake for breakfast, Mom winks. Deal. We all shake hands on it. After 2 slices of cake, I put on my outdoor clothes and grab my helmet. I want to wear my pajamas, but Mom doesn't think it's a good idea. Stella, the rope will get stuck in the wheels, she warns. The 3 of us walk our bikes to the park across the street to practice. I put on my helmet. I'm ready. I put 1 foot on the pedal. The bike starts wobbling. I try to put my other foot on the pedal. It wobbles even more. This is much harder than when I used to ride with training wheels. What if I fall? Then I look around. What if somebody sees? Oh my goodness, what if Jessica's at the park? I look at Nick and whisper, "This is scary." Nick walks over and holds the bike. "It's okay, kiddo. Get both feet on the pedal." I do, and he holds the bike. "Okay, now just pedal." I try, but I stop and put my feet on the ground. "Mom, what if I fall?" My lip starts to shake. Mom walks over and both of them look at me. "Everyone falls at some point, Stella." "Yeah, I pretty much am the best at everything, but even I fell a little bit at the beginning," said Nick. Then he rubs my helmet. "Really?" "But mi chiquita, Stella, if you don't want to ride, you don't have to today," Mom says. "It's your birthday and it's Stella's rules." "Yeah, we can play video games and I'll let you beat me." Nick elbows me gently. I take a deep breath. It takes all of my courage, but I say, "Nope, I'll try. I'm stronger than I think, right, Mom?" Mom nods. It takes about 10 tries with Nick holding the bike while I get started. Like the sea dragon, he knows when to let go so I can swim away on my own. Finally, I ride the bike a few times without any help. Before I know it, I'm doing loops around the playground with Mom and Nick. Each loop feels more natural and my legs get less shaky. They start to feel strong. As I ride around, I can't help but imagine all the fun times I'll have riding my bike now with Nick and Jenny. I wonder if Anna knows how to ride a bike. Maybe all of us could ride together. That makes me feel excited, and I begin to pedal faster. Then I wonder if Stanley knows how to ride a bike. I'm sure he'd be really good at it. But then again, I'm not sure anymore. Stanley's not always the best at everything, just the best at most things. For a brief second, I imagined Stanley riding bikes with us, and I pedal faster and faster. Wow, Stella had a pretty exciting birthday, didn't she? Bowling with Dad, and then a new bike and cake for breakfast. That's amazing. Tomorrow we'll have to find out if they get to go to Shed Aquarium and how her presentation goes. Thanks for reading with me. Good luck at your Kahoot. Bye.